What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Swish Podcast, man. I'm your host, Kevon Humphreys, and we have episode 2 of the Swish-A-Thon, man. And in this video, we're talking about the Golden State Warriors. Now, I ain't gonna waste no time with all the yapperness, with all the chatter. We're just gonna get straight into it. So, in the 2023-2024 NBA season, the Golden State Warriors finished with a 46-36 record and was eliminated in the 9-10 game of the NBA play-in tournament by the Sacramento Kings. Now, that game, I remember I dropped a video on it a while back when it happened. That was a rough game to watch because the Warriors they got blown out. They got blown out. Steph Curry didn't have the best game because they were double teaming, triple teaming him. And I think Keegan Murray made like 9 or 10 threes. He made a bunch of threes. And they ended up eliminating the Warriors. But I think the issue with the Warriors started way before the play-in. It started around trade deadline. It started earlier in the season with the struggles of the team as a whole. You got Draymond Green choking people out, punching people in the face, so he got suspended. You got the whole Jonathan Kuminga wanting to start, and then he starts and plays good, then he gets moved back to the bench. You had the struggles of a Klay Thompson, where he eventually got moved to the bench, and oddly enough, Klay Thompson scored 0 points in that play-in game that they got eliminated in. You had Chris Paul, who was brought in for some odd reason, was brought in to be another point guard for this team off the bench. He came in and scored. He took one shot. He shot one shot in that play-in game. So the Warriors had a lot going on. But at the trade deadline, a lot of people believed that they were going to make a move. A lot of people thought they were going to trade Klay Thompson or Draymond Green or somebody to put another star besides Steph Curry to help him kind of maximize the way he played that season. Now, Steph didn't have a crazy Steph-less year, but it's Steph Curry. So he didn't have a bad year, but he may have had a rather average year from Steph Curry standards. So looking at all that, they end up losing in the play-in and not making the playoffs. So coming into the offseason, there were a lot of question marks. What was next for the Warriors? Let's talk about what happened in the offseason. So first, let's talk about their additions. The Golden State Warriors added D'Anthony Melton. They signed D'Anthony Melton, who's probably going to be the backup point guard. He's 26 years old, so he is a younger, I guess, replacement for a 39-year-old Chris Paul. But D'Anthony Melton, I like this move. D'Anthony Melton's a guy that can come in, hit the three, come in, play defense. He played pretty good for the 76ers last season, averaging 11.2 points per game as a starter for them last season. They also acquired Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson in a sign-and trade involving, I want to say it was four, or it might have been 6 teams. 6 teams that ended up sending Klay Thompson to the Mavericks, and we're gonna get into that whole drama a little bit later. But they end up adding Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson. So, in the retrospect of things, they got rid of a Chris Paul and a Klay Thompson for Buddy Hield and D'Anthony Melton and Kyle Anderson. Now, Buddy Hield might be the best replacement available for Klay Thompson. Buddy Hield, a guy that averaged 12.1 points per game last year with the Philadelphia 76ers. He's a guy that's gonna spread the floor. You know what I'm saying? You're still gonna have that shooting at that 2 guard. Buddy Hield actually is the league leader in threes made over the past 5 seasons with 1,322 made threes over the past 5 seasons. So you still have that sharp shooting backcourt, you know, with Steph and Buddy Hield. Now it's not Klay Thompson, but if he can mimic Klay Thompson anyway, I think the Warriors will be fine. I think Klay Thompson did not have he didn't have a Klay Thompson year to his standards, but the way he was shooting, he was still one of the best shooters in the NBA. But people are not going to talk about that, but I'm going to get into that a little bit later when I talk about Klay Thompson. Kyle Anderson. I'm not going to lie. Kyle Anderson, I don't see it. I think he plays the game too slow. I know his nickname is Slow-Mo, but he takes that to heart. He moves slow. As a defense, you're going to let him shoot the 3 ball. And I don't see how that works if you have a Draymond Green on the court with him in any capacity. They're not going to hit many threes. Defensively, he could be a problem. He's definitely going to help out with the perimeter defense. But offensively, I don't see how he's going to help at all. But let's go ahead and talk about the real big news coming out of Golden State this summer, and that was Klay Thompson ultimately leaving. And the big three, the core of Steph, Klay, and Dre that won 4 championships, is officially broken up. And this may, to me, I think this is the end of their dynasty. People believe that it ended earlier or whatever, but hey, now that they're broke up, it's officially over to me. But there was more that went along in that whole drama, that whole dilemma with Klay Thompson than just them trading Klay Thompson. So this is what happened. The Golden State Warriors were trying to get Paul George from the Clippers. They were trying to get Paul George from the Clippers, but the Clippers didn't want to trade Paul George because you're trading to a division opponent. You don't do that. You do not trade to someone you're going to play 4 times a year, and unless you're going to get a massive haul back, And the thing with the Warriors was they did not have the money to go sign him, so they had to get him via a trade. But the Clippers, when the Clippers said, "Hey, we're not gonna sign you back to Paul George," when they told Paul George we weren't gonna sign him back, that took the Warriors out of the running, and that landed Paul George in Philadelphia. But on the flip side, in the midst of all this trying to get Paul George, Klay Thompson was sitting here like, "Yo, just give me my money." You know what I'm saying? Klay Thompson was waiting for his money. He was waiting to get paid, and it didn't come. I believe I can't sit here and knock the Warriors for trying to go after Paul George instead of Klay Thompson because Paul George is better than Klay Thompson, but Klay Thompson don't feel that way. And with Klay Thompson feeling like the team, I guess he felt disrespected. They didn't want to pay him no money. He ended up taking a cheaper salary, a cheaper contract with the Dallas Mavericks, and really stuck it to the Warriors, saying, "Fine, y'all don't want to pay me. I'm going to go somewhere else and get paid less just because I don't want to deal with y'all no more." So now the Warriors left without nothing. The Warriors, they tried. It's like you go for the bigger fish and then you don't get the bigger fish and you miss out on the smaller fish in Klay Thompson. That's exactly what happened. Now, later in the offseason, there were rumors that they were trying to go after Lauri Markkanen from the Jazz. But the Jazz wanted a bunch of first-round draft picks along with Brandon Podziemski. And the Warriors just did not want to part with Brandon Podziemski. So the Jazz said, "Fine, you don't want to part with this guy? Fine, we're going to go ahead and lock up Lauri Markkanen." They paid Lauri Markkanen, I want to say a good little contract. I don't know the exact details, but he got a good little contract. And so the Warriors, once again, have nothing. They didn't get anything from... They didn't get the big fish that they were looking for. They got a couple good additions, like I said, D'Anthony Melton, Kyle Anderson to an extent, and Buddy Hield, but they did not get the big fishes that they were trying to go after. But even through all that, I still want to look at this roster because I think there is more than what meets the eye when it comes to looking at this roster. So I'm going to read it off for y'all. We have Kyle Anderson, Reese Beacom, which is a rookie, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Buddy Hield, Trayce Jackson-Davis, Jonathan Kuminga, Kevon Looney, D'Anthony Melton, Moses Moody, Gary Payton II, Brandon Podziemski, Guy Santos, another rookie, and Andrew Wiggins. Now, when I look at this roster, I say, hey, that's not that bad. It's not. It could be better. By all means, it could be better. But it's not that bad. When I thought about the Warriors before I dove into this video, and I think it's going to happen a lot with these videos I'm making. I'm going to learn more about the teams because now I get to actually focus on each team and see what all they got. But I look at this team and I think, okay, they're kind of sort of in the same boat they were last year. Except they have more, I would say more defense. They got more defense. They go and get a Kyle Anderson who can come in and get some stops. They got a D'Anthony Melton who's a way better defender than Chris Paul at this age. And, they kept pretty much everybody else. Now, the big thing with the Warriors, for me, they have no size. The biggest guy on their team is still Kevon Looney, but Kevon Looney even lost a lot of minutes last year to injury and to Trayce Jackson-Davis, who I want to say is 6'9", 6'8", 6'9". So they don't have much size. But I look at this team, I say they're gonna have to rely on their perimeter defense and their shooting, and that's kind of been the MO for the Warriors for all their championship runs. But at the same time, during those championship runs, they had interior presence. You know, they may not have been shot blockers, but they had someone sitting in the paint that could at least deter shots. This year they don't have that. And I think that may be a problem with them, especially in a competitive Western Conference with a bunch of bigs and a bunch of guards that can get to the basket almost at will and are going to challenge your guys at the rim. So, my prediction for the Golden State Warriors, I think the Warriors are going to be back in the play-in just because of the fact that the West, like I said, is very competitive. It's very stacked Western Conference. You know, you have a bunch of teams that you know, even last year they were really good, and some of them got better. And you got teams that, you know, kind of were in the same boat as the Warriors, but they were just better. You know, and I think that still is the case this year. But Warriors fans, Steph Curry fans, I will be very excited for the season because I think we have the potential to see a Steph Curry similar to the one we saw back in 2021 when he led the league in scoring. I think Steph Curry is going to have a crazy season just because he's going to have to, you know. And we saw him in the Olympics. You know, we saw what he did in that gold medal game. He went crazy, hitting four straight threes in the final, 2 minutes. But I think with the way they're going to play this year, they're going to rely on their top guy to be him. And I think with Steph Curry, you got a shot. They ain't going to win no championship, but they can definitely make the playoffs. But I do believe if they make the playoffs, they'll probably be bounced in the first round just because I would see them getting in one of those lower seeds, and they got to take on one of the top dogs in the conference. And I just don't see them beating any of them top dogs as the team looks now. Now, there may be more moves. But as of August 27, 10:20 p.m., this team is who they got, you know. But before I close the video out, I want to sit here and talk about Steph Curry and the Warriors and how I believe that the Warriors have not necessarily failed Steph, but I don't think they've done a good job of surrounding him with guys in this latter part of his career to win more championships. Now, don't get me wrong, he does have 4 championships. He got one in 2022 against the Boston Celtics, but I think these past couple of seasons, the Warriors are taking steps backwards rather than steps forwards. Every single offseason, they've taken steps backwards. Starting with last offseason when they traded away Jordan Poole. You know, I understand the whole thing with Draymond Green was kind of wild. Now I understand how that relationship probably would not be reconciled, and that translates to the court. But Jordan Poole, alongside Steph Curry, under the mentorship of Steph Curry and those guys in the Warriors locker room, he was looking like an emerging superstar, you know. And now in Washington, he's not that good, kinda. He's not really the best, but that's because he's out of that umbrella. You know, it's easy to play good when you got a 4-time champion, a 3-time champion coming in saying, "Hey, this is what I see from the sideline. You know what I'm saying? Do this." You know, working with you you're training with Steph Curry every single day. You're gonna get better. In Washington, he has not had that. Not only Jordan Poole, but they also traded away James Wiseman for nothing. You know, James Wiseman for nothing, and that's just they could have did something with that. They could have got something. He's a 2nd overall pick. They could have got something for him. And looking at this season and the way that Steve Kerr has been handling the young guys, it's a possibility that they may lose more young guys. You know, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody are both in their last years of their contract. You know, Jonathan Kuminga had a really good season last year. I say in his elevated opportunity, he got to see the floor more. He got more opportunity. He played really well. Moses Moody, you know, I think he was the only guy that played good in that play-in game against the Kings. So I just call for the Warriors to just handle your future better. I think not going and getting Larry Markkinen was great, because not going and getting Larry Markkinen, you don't trade your young assets, and you keep those draft picks just in case y'all start losing a bunch of games, because y'all gonna need me if I start losing a bunch of games. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Warriors fans, let me know how y'all feeling in the comment section. Everybody else, man, comment who y'all want to see next, man, because we starting it. We're gonna start pumping these videos out, man. Y'all may see me in this shirt again next video, because I'm probably gonna record one right after I finish this. But That's all I got for y'all today. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share with y'all folks, man. Until next time, we out of here. Yeah!